Start it up then.
Success. So let's talk about success. Pretty much most people will deem it as some sort of existential type thing. So whether or not that's a flashy car, big house, tons of cash, loads of women or men, whatever you're into, any of that sort of stuff, awesome job, name in big lights. What is success to you? And more importantly, what drives you to want that? So people will talk about success as, oh, I'll be successful when. So it's always a when I get there. You've got to think, if you've already inbuilt in your mind that success is at this level that you have to grow to, once you get there, you're going to be resetting goals for yourself. So you're never going to be feeling successful for one, but you're never going to be happy. So you're always telling yourself, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I'm successful. Well, if success is always being built up as something else, how can you be happy? Think of it this way. Let's say you have $1 million. Instantly when you've got that amount of money, you'll tend to be around people with bigger kinds of money because you'll just resonate and be drawn to those sort of people. It's always going to be people with more money. So you'll meet Larry. Hey Larry, yeah, I've got $1 million. Larry owns a company worth $4 million. Okay, so I'll be successful when I'm at Larry's level. Awesome. But then you don't see behind the closed doors. Larry's got a friend called Bethany. Bethany's company is worth $1 billion. So Larry will feel successful when he gets to Bethany's level, and so on and so forth. Bethany's got friends who come from a rich oil family. You're never going to really top that, let's be honest. Princes, these people with billions upon billions upon billions, trillions of dollars. Stop saying you're going to be successful when you have X amount of money or X job or awesome car, because it happened to me. Honestly, my story's, I love my story, personally. I've been through a lot. I came from a pretty broke childhood, very, very rough, lots of family issues, but, we're not here to talk about that. Pretty much I came from nothing is the best way to describe it. I had a beautiful mother who looked after me, but besides that, things were pretty rough. I always told myself from the age of about 16, I was going to own a gym and I was going to have an Audi A4. The reason being is I was quite a chubby kid. So I saw a PT ad for Australian Institute of Fitness, and they were talking, I think it was Australian Institute of Fitness, don't quote me on that, but it was like pretty much a jacked guy with all these women around him talking about how good life is as a PT. I was like, oh my God, I want that. So I was like, yeah, if I own a gym, I'll get all these girls and I'll be loved and I'll have money and I'll be cool and everyone will love me. So, I spent the next 5-6 years really building on that. So when I was about 22, 23, I got my first gym. And I was like, yeah, and then I bought myself the Audi A4 and I was like, yeah, life's awesome now. I'm going to be super happy. After about a month, the novelty wore off. It was just another car. Cost me more and I had a debt on it. Don't get me wrong, I do love that car. But as much as you can love an inanimate object, it's cool. That's pretty much it. I could deal without it. It's cool to have it, but there's no real, it's not life or death. Same with the gym. The thing I love about my gym is I love helping people. But if it wasn't for that, it's just a liability because there's a lot of stress and money. I really thought it was going to bring me happiness and be deemed as successful as people would talk about. It didn't. It changed a lot of things in my life. I was super depressed. It really isolated me from some of the closest people in my life at the time, friends, family, my partner, back then. And yeah, I was super lonely, to be honest. It was probably the worst thing that ever happened to me at that time. I just didn't know what to do. I just felt really, really alone. I felt like, no one could understand. People kept putting me as this perceived, super successful guy, and, oh, you're this young guy doing all this good stuff, and I was just me. I was still me. I had a few more things. That was really about it. And, I wanted to share them with my friends. I did notice people would start to take advantage of me or, think I had unlimited cash because of this business. Very big misconception. Just because someone owns a business doesn't mean they're super, super rich. They're normally more poorer than someone who actually has a, high-paying job. So for me, the sad thing was, I'd get to the point where people would just seem to want to be around me because I was that gym guy or, whatever. I actually remember getting that, that term was coined for me, that gym guy. So it got to a point when I was single after that I'd just go out and tell girls, I worked at McDonald's for a living because I didn't want them to be like, oh, you're in a gym, and then that attraction was only because of something existential. I wanted to be liked for me. It's one of the things I can't stress enough. Don't put success on something that's, an object or existential. Success comes from the inside. You want to be happy. Happiness above everything else. So when I say to you, what's driving you to want to be successful? So a lot of people write down goals, and in this day and age, everyone's talking about being a hustler, and they're just always hustling, always working. They're entrepreneurs, and they all have all this money. Why? Why do you want it? Because you saw some self-help guy be like, hey man, you should be a hustler. You should work 40 hours a day. No, sleeps for the week. That's dumb, man. Your health is more important. I'd rather build slowly, have my health when I'm 30, when I'm 40, when I'm 50, rather than being stressed out of my eyes, have a shitty bloody, my 20s, my 30s, even my 40s, of just working for all this money that, that will probably only be used in the end to pay off medical bills because I'll be so unhealthy and stressed. I don't agree with that whole hustle mentality. Definitely work if you love what you do. But if you love what you do, you're not really working, are you? So you're not hustling, as some say. You're not stressed. So, this is going a bit off topic. Sorry about that. I'll do that quite a bit. You'll probably notice in the channel. So going back to success, what's driving you? Is it because someone told you to be successful you need to be an actor, a model, a politician, a doctor, all these, all the big jobs, a lawyer, whatever it may be? Is it family pressure? Is it to get the opposite sex? I know a lot of my friends who only do things for the opposite sex. A lot of my guy mates who are straight are always doing stuff for women. My guy mates who are gay are always doing stuff for men. My female mates are the same. They want to be seen as successful, so they'll do all these things. Or for instance, they'll build like the social media status, so the perceived value of, I've got 1 million followers, so it makes me better than someone else. It doesn't. At the end of the day, perceived value, yes, it has, I guess, some benefits. But at the end of the day, don't ever isolate yourself because of what other people deem successful. If you're not happy doing something, just don't do it. If you're not happy with the business, don't have that business, because you're not only going to make yourself unhappy, your employees are going to be unhappy because you don't care about them. Not the way you should. Your customers are definitely not going to be happy because you're not going to give them that quality, that time, that service, because you don't want to be there. So you're not really being successful, even if you do have that big pile of cash at your house, in your mattress. I definitely don't recommend that. Or big numbers in your bank account, or fucking 4 Lamborghinis, a Ferrari, all that bullshit. You've got a mansion with 20 bedrooms, you use 1, possibly 2. Why do you need that? It's a waste. It's greed. It's not being successful, it's just ego-filled. Everything you're doing is then based on ego. So you never be happy, because remember, there's always going to be someone worth more than you. Unless, you come from that family where you're all oil moguls, where you're pretty much top of the chain, everyone else is going to be chasing that. So don't put yourself in that rat race. Don't put yourself in that mentality. You're never above others due to being successful. Remember that. So Joe Smith on the street versus Leo DiCaprio. Is Leo a better guy than him because he's rich? No, not at all. Everyone's equal. Everyone's the same. I'm the same as everyone else. I'm the same as the homeless guy who just had bad luck in life or didn't have the strive to do more. Don't put yourself in that category of thinking, if I'm successful, I'm either better than someone, or you're not even in competition with anyone in the first place. Bringing back to the main point, what's driving you? If it's, opposite gender, or if it's, same gender, like if it's all based on, say, sexuality, and, you want to impress sexual partners, are they the partners you want? That they're like, how attractive is that guy or that girl because they've got this nice car and all this money? You don't want that, because they don't love you for you. You deserve to be loved for you. And above all, you need to love yourself first. And it's one of the hardest things I learned. Honestly, I was hypersexual a lot of my life. I would always sleep around because I wanted that validation. And that was one of the big things that drove me as a person. It's really, really sad, because I look back and I was like, wow, I can't believe how, how much of my life that ruled. I'm so glad to be out of that. Please don't let yourself fall in that category, or whether or not you think it's just money. Having all this money is going to make you happy. Don't get me wrong, money has a place. You can definitely live through life a bit easier, but what are you going to sacrifice to get that money? You're going to sacrifice your health and say I have a heart attack at 45, so yeah, okay, you could be a millionaire, but you're dead. You can't even use that money. What's the point? Okay, you want to leave a legacy to your kids, I get that. But then if you give your kids everything, do you want them to be spoiled brats? Or do you want them to work a bit? Do you want them to strive harder? Do you want them to achieve what you've achieved, to become people like you, I guess, see yourself as being, or who you're becoming? When I get back to success, I always think my biggest thing is, don't allow it to isolate you from others. Don't think because you're hustling, as some people say, or grinding, I have to be alone, I can't hang out with you, I need to work. Because a lot of that time, you're not really doing much when you're working. You're wasting time. Let's be honest, how many hours are you like, yeah, I've got to study or I've got to work tonight and I've got to do this. And then you're just flipping through social media for an hour or two. Then you do little things, but you're losing your life for that. Enjoy life. Being successful is being happy. If traveling's happiness for you, do it. If you believe money will get you to happiness, chase it. But think about what you're really going to lose for it. When I talk about success to everyone, I just say the first thing. You're only successful when you feel successful and when you're truly fulfilled in yourself. It comes back to purpose. What is your purpose? Find out what drives you first and foremost, and remember that every person is driven by one thing mainly. They want to be loved. You don't want to feel not good enough. Everyone wants to feel good enough and everyone wants to feel loved. They're your two biggest factors. So think about how you want to get that from people. Do you want to get that from people by being you and being truly and utterly loved deep inside yourself, or do you want to get it from existential bullshit? Look at my car. Oh yes, I love you. No, you don't want that. You want to be like, I really like that person. I love that person because I connect on a deep level. They may have nothing, but we can have the best conversation in the world. That's my 2 cents on success. I hope it can help you. I hope it can help you grow. Thank you.
Start it up then.